Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Um, Now we start the new astrological year. We start spring, and we have this new moon in Aries in the very first degree of the sign. So, this is a very potent week, not only because of this, but because of other aspects also happening. Um, and we have this amazing blossoming timing. So it's just beginning, and we sure need this this brightness here in the northern hemisphere, of course. We sure need this bit of warmth in in our skins and also in our hearts. So spring here in Portugal starts on the 20th, and then on the 21st, exactly 22 minutes past 5 p.m., uh, it happens this new moon in the very first degree of the sign of Aries. So this is super intense. We will have two new moons in Aries this month, this cycle. One in the very first degree and the other one in the last one. So this can be quite intense. But again, this is just the beginning of a special year with big energetic shifts, especially coming from the last 3 years of this very Saturnian energies. Um, Saturn continues to be here. We spoke about that in the last lunar cycle of Pisces. So, but still, this is a big shift. And especially this week is like full of this intensity and of this shift of some planets moving towards different signs. So let's begin by understanding what's here. This new moon actually has most of the aspects are in separation. So this means that they are dissolving. They have already happened in some moment, and they are dissolving. So they are losing their strength or their intensity. And there are only a few that are actually oh an application. So let's see what those are, and I'll mostly consider those ones only. So, of course, we have to first speak about Aries. Aries is the first impulse of action and is the impulse coming from courage, coming from vital energy, our strength. And Aries is the warrior. It doesn't mean that is the warrior that goes to war and that is aggressive and that goes into fights, but it's surely the warrior that is brave enough um, to go after its purpose, to seek for its dreams, to to live a fulfilled and a meaningful life, and um, going for that all in with all its energy. So it's this this burst of enthusiasm. It's the blossoming of enthusiasm, we can say it like that, since here it's spring. So of course it's still in the beginning. So there are a lot of us that have been going through, especially the last 3 months, of a lot of pain or dissolved illusions, or fantasies, or even disappointments, and suffering and losses, basically. So of course this is not going to just fade away, and it's not supposed to fade away. It's supposed to be integrated. And so now it's like we have another opportunity to be reborn, and we may still be in that dark channel, maybe seeing a little bit of light in the end of um, um, that channel, maybe not yet, um, but it has that possibility, it has that opportunity. So maybe we just need a little bit more time to fulfill our cups, um, to fill our cups, to fill in our cups, and to, of course, feel fulfilled and strong enough to then take the steps that we actually want to take. And maybe it's something completely new. Maybe our purpose actually changed a lot because of mm, the learnings, or um, everything that we have been through in the past months, or even in the past years. Because, as I said, this is shifting a lot. The energy is shifting a lot, especially when comparing to the last 3 years. So maybe we are mourning a lot of things from the past months or from the past years. Um, and now we have the opportunity to start doing, not start doing, but start being, and start envisioning ourselves in a different way, um, and acknowledging our strength, Aries. Yeah, there is a lot of potential to recover, or discover, or rediscover um, a new potential for ourselves, or a new identity even for oneself. So this can be a moment of starting that, because, as I said, we will have another new moon by the end of this cycle, in the 20th of April, if I'm not mistaken. So we have this moment. It's not that, like, in this day, on the 21st of March, I have to feel like full ready, like to conquer the world. It's not that. It's building up. So let's take that moment to build ourselves up again, um, and get ready to blossom at some moment. So this is just that impulse of, yeah, maybe feeling that, okay, so now maybe I'm allowed, and I can finally enjoy the sun and my skin, enjoy a bit of joy in some moment. I deserve that. Maybe now I can feel that I deserve that after so much pain, or so much suffering, or um, dissolution in my life. So let's take that in. Let's allow ourselves to receive that. Um, and this new moon, of course, this is, or the Aries energy is, and the Aries qualities are even more magnified now with this new moon, because we had already Jupiter in Aries for quite a while. It had its conjunction with Chiron on the 12th of March. So I think I spoke about that in the last video. So this may have brought already some some a new understanding, maybe, or different values, or different meanings to for our lives, or for oneself, for, again, like, seeing myself in a different way, or seeing life in a different way, and valuing things in a valuing different things that I didn't before. um, and then we also have, of course, the sun and the moon, and we also have Mercury. And this is like a double, double aspect. It's like it's happening. Um, it's like the same aspect happening twice, so it's amplified as well, because we have Mercury in Aries, and we have Mars in Gemini. So just for you to understand, Mars rules Aries, and so it is on the sign that Mercury rules, which is Gemini, one of them. So we have this mutual reception, let's say, um, and of course it amplifies this need. And of course, when we speak about Mars in Gemini or Mercury in Aries, it's about being brave enough to speak our truth, very in a very assertive and objective way, and but of course also very passionate and enthusiastic. But of course, it can also be very reckless and undecisive, and or yeah, being very sure of one thing in one moment, and then being very sure about a totally different thing in the next moment. So this can bring a little bit of a also a bit of an aggressive touch, and reckless. So we may need to also pay attention to this, and not to get into arguments that are, yeah, that make no sense and have no purpose. um but it brings also to me the reminder that the breath, which is air, can help us regulate our nervous system in a very big way. And since Aries is a fire sign, so this emotions and this yeah, all emotions and all needs may be very, very intense, and we want them now because that's Aries. So yeah, breathing in and breathing out, and any kind of especially the practices of the breath that also bring the fire, bring the energy. If you're feeling the lack of energy, using the breath to regain your strength. You can search for fire breath, or any techniques of breath work can help you regulate your nervous system. Um, if you're feeling frustrated and angry and anxious, or if you're feeling the lack of energy. So this is something that can be used, and it's so powerful. So maybe this is a technique that you can search for. Of course, it should be guided, because of course the breath is simple and very powerful, so it has to be used mindfully, and with the knowledge of what are you creating um, with that with that technique or with that tool. So it's good that you start with some kind of guidance. But it's very, very powerful, and I totally recommend to be used, especially now. So this new moon kind of highlights the need to communicate, and to um, not only to communicate, but of course to listen as well, because that's also the downside of Mercury in Aries, is that it tends not to listen to what others are saying, and of course to be very sure of my opinions. So it's important that that we remember Libra, the partnerships, and we remember to listen, and to, yeah, just to review with our partners if my plans, my understanding of myself, and my understanding of life, and the actions that I'm wanting to to take, if they're actually going against or hurting or not having my partner or whomever is next to me into consideration. So I have to listen, I have to communicate, and I have to listen, and I have to be open to receive others' opinions as well, and not wanting to just force mine upon others. So this is something that can be quite intense, of course, because it's Aries, so it's all fire. Um, but I think it has this great potential just to fill us up this energy, with this prana, with this chi or ki or whatever they call it in the Chinese traditional medicine. Um, it's we are always speaking about the same, which is this love for life and this enthusiasm for life and this openness to towards life. So um, that courage comes from there, and comes from that understanding that despite I may be facing um, some kind of yeah challenge, I still go anyway. I still trust my ability to overcome that or to find different solutions for that. So it's this like very deep self confidence. So we may need to find that if we have lost it in the last 3 months or 3 years. This is the moment to to regain it, to search for it again, and to um, maybe to just rediscover it. So this is quite intense and joyful, mainly in my perspective. Um, it's also in a it's still a it's still in separation, but it's still very close. This new moon is also in a very positive and harmonic um, aspect with Pluto. Um, and of course, well, Pluto is all about death and rebirth. So what I was saying about maybe not still feeling completely ready to come out from this dark place, maybe we can start feeling the strength to just take a little just take a little step towards that, and just understanding that we have been through a lot. Maybe we have been mourning, and this is the moment of um, being reborn. Um, but it takes time. It's not done in just one day. So we can take our time. We can start to feel the strength. And this is not so much about the physical strength, but more about the emotional and psychological strength, um, and the awareness of how much we evolved since that loss or that um, perceived death that happened in the past months or in the past years. So this is a moment to also kind of pay some tribute to to what have gone um, away in my life in the past 3 years, and understand how much that strengthened me, or maybe not in the way that I was aware, but in other ways. Maybe um, I gained so much emotional awareness, or I was forced to confront my own fears because of that. So and now I can see the world and see myself in a totally different way. So this is a moment to also acknowledge that in my perspective. And then we have we have this amazing aspect that happened exact on the 20th, which was the conjunction in between. So it's still very present because it's the conjunction in between Venus and the North lunar node, and of course this brings the topic of yeah. Venus in Taurus is about harmony, and it's about love, and it's about respect for nature, respect the cycles of nature. So, and also this ability to be in a partnership and feel that I'm still independent and that I can be helped, that I can ask for support, and that I won't lose my my independence because of that. So this is like a moment that, of course, in the North Lunar Node, it's about our soul's journey as a collective. Um, so this may just bring this focus on be more loving, on be more supportive of each other, and of live a little bit more in sync with nature, because we are all cyclical, and things take time to well, to blossom and to for us to harvest. So we have to build them from the ground. We have to plant the right seeds. So what kind of seeds and what kind of purpose is that you are pursuing, and how can I be helped or supported by others in that direction? So in my perspective, of course, this again puts the focus also in not again, but it puts the focus on love and respect for nature, for this planet that we are part of. And yeah, so and the other aspect that for me it's one of the most crucial here is that is a trine, so a very harmonic aspect in between Mars and Saturn. Mars is living, it's another big shift of this week. Mars will enter the sign of Cancer, and Mars has been in Gemini since August 2022. So it's been a long, long time, and a very difficult time for a lot of us, especially in communication or in starting things, or yeah, in moving. So, and of course the use of technology as well, um, or if yeah, any kind of tools in our home. Um, and now moving into and of cars, of course, of transportation, of means of transportation. But then Mars going into a water sign, it brings this kind of totally different vibe, because it goes into Cancer, which is the sign of family, of the loved ones, and this sensation of home, of being protected. So that's well, the role of Mars here is not being the warrior of that goes away to fight. It's actually the one that stays to protect us. So it's a little bit more of a caretaker and of defense, um, a defense role. And of course, in a trine with Saturn, of course, it also brings this cautiousness, and this responsibility for taking care and for protecting, and being also, in my perspective, this yeah, this possibility to hold each other, to hold each other's emotions, and to yeah, to protect them, to understand them, and to protect them. So it can be very, very interesting in my vision. Um, and it gives a totally different tone that we have been experiencing. We have been for 3 years with Saturn in an air sign, and for the last almost 9 months, we had also Mars in an air sign. So now we move into the water. So it's a little softer, and of course it can go deep as well, but it's softer, and yeah, more focused on the well-being of each other. So this can be very, very interesting to dive deep into. And of course, I'll finish with by speaking about also another aspect that is going to happen this week. That is, well, Pluto stepping into Aquarius. So I was just speaking about Saturn leaving Aquarius, and now you'll have Pluto entering Aquarius. It's just for a brief period of 3 to 4 months. It will enter on the 23rd exact, and it will depart again for back into Capricorn. Yeah, someday in June. I can't remember which is the date, the exact date, but it's someday in June. So we have this like sneak peek and this preview of the next 20 years. So Pluto in Aquarius is bringing the planet related to power and to death and rebirth into the sign of Aquarius, which is related to society, to the way that we live in as a community, as a society, of course. So in this humanitarian perspective, and it's basically just transferring the power into people, into the hands of people. Um, but then let's see how we, as individuals, how do we take on that? So we can see a lot of revolutions with high humanitarian values. Um, but we can also see how much, as individuals, we are conscious and aware of how our individual actions and choices are affecting the global community. Because we may just feel that my little choice is only affecting me, but it's actually affecting everyone in this planet. So the more that I can take responsibility for my responsibility and ownership for my choices and how I choose to serve my community, how I choose to exercise my power to serve my community, then this it will be manifested and created and co-created or started to be co-created and manifested for the next 3 months. So let's see how this goes. I'm very curious for that. We can already see um, a few gatherings of people towards some striking a lot here in Portugal um, for like basic topics as education and then health, the national health system. So it's more than natural that we want to have the basic needs um, well um, available to us because it hasn't been like that, or not in a very positive or with quality. But we may also remember that this is maybe we are fighting here for such standards that are not even still met in other countries in the world. So there's a lot to do. We will have 20 years for that. And of course we need to start locally. So let's start taking care of what our closest communities need, and how do we as individuals support that and serve that. So this is a big topic, and this is going to happen, as I said, on the 23rd. So this week is full of energetic shifts for everyone. I hope you can still take your time to feel the first lights, the first rays of the sun in your skin, and enjoy them, um, and allow them to also feed your love and your heart. And just remember that, again, you are a part of nature and you are cyclical, and everything is happening and changing all the time. So it's normal that we need to change as well, and we need to change in our own pace. So don't rush anything. Take your time. and allow yourself to blossom whenever you're ready for. I'm sure you will. Yeah, may you all have a beautiful and surprising and joyful and, yeah, very fulfilling um, new year. Um, yeah, all aligned with your with your soul's purpose and with nature. Much love to you. Bye.